I went to the taxidermist and I got some really interesting news. One, sadly, the prints that I gave him, he suspects it came from a bear.
That's interesting, though. When I talked to Dr. Katz, he did mention that black bears are in Kentucky.
But the other piece of evidence that I gave the taxidermist was the piece of hair, and he suspects it came from some kind of canine.
But to verify that, we would need to do DNA testing, and to my knowledge, there weren't any roots.
Sadly, it did not have roots.
No way to DNA test.
No, not with those samples.
So where do you want to go for him here?
I'm a really big believer in James's story, so I would like to have him come in and take a polygraph test.
I have questions about James's testimony, so a polygraph would certainly help to get some answers. Before we get started with the polygraph, we decided to follow up with paranormal journalist Ben Foster, who's also been digging into this since we last saw him. I've been trying to get some information from Fish and Game about those redacted reports, and I haven't gotten any emails back. How about you?
Well, Jen, it's been about the same on my end. I've spoken with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, called them personally, spoke with the secretary a couple times, got sent to, I believe it was 3 different voicemails. Finally, I did speak with an officer, and he basically told me that no officers were looking into it any longer, and that there were no documents that they could show me. This was very much a clear-cut, I don't know anything, and all but said, please stop contacting us.
Did you say anything about werewolf or dogman when you called?
No, actually, I kind of have a rule about that. So when I called, I played it straight. I said simply, I'm doing a story on these animal killings. I would like any information that you have, if there's anyone I can speak to.
If this is a wildlife attack of some sort, or they know what it is, why is this 90% redacted?
What do you think they're hiding if it was just animals?
In my research, I did happen across some police body cam footage from the Monroe County attack.
I actually have a video.
We ain't trying to cover nothing up. We don't.
I understand.
If there's a mountain lion in here, it's a mountain lion in here. If there's a python in here, there's a python in here. You know, we don't got no reason to cover nothing like that. I mean, why would we?
The bears don't do this, though, sir. Hello. I don't know. The biologist, he don't know.
So now I'm getting suspicious. This is starting to feel like a wild goose chase, and despite our best efforts, we're still no closer. I'm surprised and more than a little disappointed that even the authorities don't have more answers. They seem just as frustrated as we are.
I don't know that these authorities really know what they're dealing with.
At least in this case, it seems to be a possibility.
And of course, authorities always want to seem in control. But you know, when there's reports of a 500-pound wolf man running around, I don't think they have any control over that.
And they just want you to drop the case, and they don't want anybody like you sniffing around.
If you do happen to receive any additional information, please reach out.
Yes, thanks a lot, appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. You know, I'll stay on the trail myself. Hopefully between us, we can find something out.
We're on our way to figure out if James Bunch's werewolf sighting back in 1996 could be real, or whether his belief is just another grisly fairy tale. Hi, Carl.
Good evening.
James is sitting down with Carl Christensen, who is a former FBI agent with over 20 years as a polygraph examiner.
Doing a polygraph is really going to set the record straight if he's telling the truth.
You know you're here for a polygraph.
Yes.
I've interviewed dozens of people who have claimed to see everything from Bigfoot to Mothman to UFOs. This will be the first time in a cryptid case that I'll ask an eyewitness to take a polygraph. Carl, can you kind of take us through how this is going to work tonight?
Tonight, what we're going to determine is whether or not James' account of what occurred in the fall of '96, whether his account is truthful or not.
A polygraph is an examination that measures blood pressure, it measures movements, it measures breathing rates, it can also measure the wetness in the fingertips. It will give us insight into James and whether or not he is trying to be truthful about the events of that night or if he's trying to deceive.
There's only 2 things you need to do to pass this polygraph. You need to follow my directions, and you need to be 100% truthful. You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Okay.
During his polygraph, we want James to be calm and not distracted, so Heidi and I are going to watch from a monitor in another room.
We're going to go through questions. and then we'll take a 10-second break. That's simply the process in order to collect enough data. The test is about to begin, so please remain still. Regarding the sighting in the fall of 1996, I'm going to read the written statement to you just to make sure that it's totally accurate. In the fall of 1996 in Russell Springs, I encountered a creature about 10 foot tall. The creature was furry, much larger than a human being, and glowing greenish yellow eyes. I was initially a foot away from the creature, then it hunched down and went straight into a fence row or wood line. I estimate it weighed around 600 pounds. Is the written statement you provided me today truthful?
Yes.
Are you currently in Kentucky?
Yes.
Have you ever lied to make yourself look important?
No.
The worst part about taking a polygraph is after they ask a question, there's a very long pause and such an uncomfortable silence.
Have you ever lied to someone that loved or trusted you about anything important?
No.
You can take a deep breath or readjust in the chair if you need to. We're going to go through the questions again.
Oh, man.
They may be in the same order or they may be in a different order.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to wipe your fingers off. Your fingers are sweating quite a bit.
He just seems so earnest
Yes.
to me. And I interview people all the time who lie straight to my face. And he seems to believe that that's really, really what he saw that night.
Are you known as James?
Yes.
Regarding the sighting in the fall of 1996, do you intend to answer all questions truthfully?
Yes.
Yes, I am feeling this.
Have you ever cheated in any way?
No.
Is the written statement you provided me today truthful?
Yes.
Okay, we have enough data. I know I'm going to disappoint you. We're finished.
That was really exciting.
Hi, Carl. James.
Hey.
So, Heidi and I want to thank you so much for agreeing to take the polygraph.
You're welcome.
Carl has the results, and we would like to find out.
Okay.
With respect to the truthfulness of that statement that you wrote, I concluded.
We're about to get the results from James's polygraph test regarding his claim of having encountered a werewolf, and learn whether James believes his recollection of what occurred that night, or if he's being deceptive.
We followed all the protocol that's necessary for a valid test. With respect to the truthfulness of that statement that you wrote, I concluded, and it's my opinion, that you're telling the truth.
Because it is the truth. And
I'm glad that's the way it came out for you, and I hope now you can relax a little bit.
I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I can breathe.
I am so relieved that James passed his polygraph lie detector test. So, how do you feel about werewolves now?
The polygraph doesn't prove that werewolves exist, of course, but it does verify that James saw something that he can't explain, and that it was very frightening, and that he did indeed have this experience. The results of the polygraph made it harder for me to contest James Bunch's story. But unable to forget Dr. Katz's words from our meeting at the Wolf Sanctuary, I started researching some images online. I noticed some very interesting details about the inhabitants of Kentucky that I dismissed before. I do think that I may have found the culprit, at least in James's case. I'm talking with someone who I'm convinced will provide some much-needed clarity in this investigation.
You do believe this is what he saw?
I do believe that that's what James saw that night. But Dr. Katz explained that if an animal looks different than what it normally looks like due to an injury or an illness, a lot of times people will mistake it for something else, for a different creature, for something paranormal, for something that they can't quite understand. So I looked up one of the things he specifically talked about, and that is a bear with mange. And I want you to look at this and give me your thoughts.
Oh, wow. You know, in looking at this, I can see how people could potentially not know exactly what they're looking at here.
So I downloaded a lot of these images and I sent them to a sketch artist to simply create a drawing of these bears with mange, except not lying down, actually standing up on their hind legs, as some black bears have been known to do.
Oh, wow. Very, very similar, very compelling. Okay.
Now, James specifically said that he looked up and that's when he saw this sort of face. I do think what's important is that he felt like this was going to kill him. And if it was this size and this ferocious, it could have easily killed him, but instead it chose to run away.
It did.
Another reason why I strongly believe that this could have been a black bear with mange is because when bears are sickly or they're struggling, they are more likely to go into domesticated areas.
These are really similar, very close, but it doesn't explain every case out there, like even my own.
I don't have any reason to believe that all of these attacks were perpetrated by one lone predator or one specific animal, cryptid, set of animals, etc. We just don't know. It could have been a black bear, or it could have been a pack of feral dogs.
Or it could have been a werewolf or a dogman. I know what I saw, so I'm personally gonna keep looking for answers.